Hello and welcome. My name is Craig D'Souza. I'm the CEO of the Creative Industry Association. And today I have a great guest from Yodel Direct, who are now the patrons of the Creative Industry Association. And today we have Mike Antwoon, Sales Director of Yodel. Mike, welcome and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. So Mike, just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and explain a bit about Yodel, if you may.
Yeah, morning, Craig, and morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you all and give you a bit of an insight into Yodel and specifically Yodel Direct. So I've been with Yodel now for a couple of years. I'm the sales director. I look after the new business. I look after a few different channels, but one of the most important and the most exciting channels that I look after is Yodel Direct. Now, Yodel Direct is a sub-brand of Yodel. It's directed at small businesses. It's directed at the C2C community, hobbyists, people who don't have the buying potential to necessarily negotiate a good, cost-effective solution for themselves. So Yodel Direct was created for that purpose.
Oh, fantastic. And obviously with the creative industries and all of those micro businesses and retailers, what makes Yodel Direct kind of the perfect partner now for us to move forward, now that kind of we're getting back onto an open business platform now?
Yeah, it's a great question and something we were very conscious of when we decided to launch Yodel Direct. And there's three key areas that we focused on. We're cheap, we're convenient, and we're reliable. The first one, obviously, people sometimes balk at when you say cheap, but the reality is we're cost effective. It's a marketplace where there is a good amount of competition, and price is important. Price is important for the buyers, price is important for the sellers, and for the micro businesses, simply because the margins are tight, and you don't want to spend a lot of your margin on carriage. So we appreciate that, and therefore we wanted to offer something that was cheap but very cost effective and a value add service. So that's the first point. We're convenient as well. We operate our network through 6,000 Collect Plus locations. So these are local stores, garages, shops that are usually within a mile of where the sender is operating from, and 6,000 is not quite as many as the post office, but it's certainly a considerable amount of locations for people to drop their parcels and even collect the parcels from if they need to. And then the reliability side, we as Yodel and Yodel Direct have built our reputation around the performance of our service. It's one thing having a cheap service, but it needs to be a cheap, reliable and effective service. So we offer a service for everybody that is mainly a 3-day service. It can be a 2-day, it can be a 4-day, but certainly no longer than 4 days. We can deliver to the majority of the UK. Our effectiveness is 99% effective, delivered on the time we say we're going to deliver it, and it certainly does rival the likes of the post office and the Royal Mail.
Which I guess the post office and Royal Mail, a lot of small businesses tend to go to, because that's the first thing you think of. And you've mentioned some really good service offerings that you have there, and obviously why Yodel are kind of tentatively or are developing this. But are there any key features that people need to really know about? Sort of like, because obviously we have small independents, we have people working from home. Are there service offerings that we should really know about? We could deep dive into at the moment.
Well, I think what's important for anybody who's sending a parcel is that communication, and that understanding of where that parcel is through its journey. And for us, through Yodel and Yodel Direct, it's a fully tracked end-to-end solution. So through the website, you can visualize, you can see exactly where your parcel's up to. Once we actually get it to the customer's door, there'll be a delivered scan, a delivered photograph. There'll be a GPS point, so you actually know that parcel's got to the person who's bought it from you. So from a service offering, I think that's vital. We also offer a 2-hour time window to the recipient. So obviously, once we load the vehicles at the depots, then we're able to send through email and through our Yodel app. We're able to send a push notification to say, right, we're going to deliver that parcel to Mrs. Jones between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, that's great if you're going to be in, but part of the enhancements that we've worked on now for the last probably 2 to 3 years is the ability to divert your parcel. So through the pandemic, the majority of people were at home all through the day, so deliveries were relatively easy during that period of time. Now people have gone back into the big wide world and they're working again, and it's not as straightforward. You might not be in between 1 and 3 o'clock. So there's a variety of diversion methods that the customer's got. The two most popular are to leave it in a safe location. Now that's going to be an outbuilding, a porch, or something of that variety. And then when the customer gets that message, they are told, and the photograph shows them, this is where your parcel is when you come home. So that's a really good option for ensuring that the parcel gets to the customer first time. You can also divert it to a neighbour. So if you haven't got a secure location, if you're in a block of flats or if you're in a gated kind of area, then you can divert it to a neighbour as well, which is very useful. And that could be a neighbour, it could be a friend or family, it could be somebody where you're happy to move it to. You can also delay it for a day. You can either say, well, it's no good today, can you try tomorrow? You can even divert it to one of our Collect Plus stores to go and collect it, or from one of our depots, or we can hold it for 7 days. If you're on holiday, you can get the message and say, please hold it for 7 days. So I think adding that value around the final mile delivery is where we've really concentrated as a business, Craig.
So quite a lot of flexibility for not just the seller, but also the receiver of product, which I think is obviously key. And that's kind of forefront of people's minds at the moment, is that deliverability, isn't it, of getting moving parcels, which obviously Yodel have worked very, very hard on and also developed. And I obviously know you guys and the team there worked extensively hard to deliver this. So it's now getting it out to the marketplace, which is great. But in your experience, with your knowledge, what kind of top tips do you have? Does Yodel have for businesses as it sits today, and maybe moving forward as we go through this kind of year of 2022?
I think straight away one springs to mind, which is a parcel going through our network on its happy path can be touched 12, 13 times through a network. So whatever you're sending, whether it's fragile or not, packaging is absolutely key in terms of getting through a network. You would be amazed at the amount of hands that actually touch a parcel from dropping it off at a Collect Plus location to actually delivering at a resident's doorstep. So packaging's key, ensuring that you've got the right amount of packaging to keep your goods safe and secure, to ensure that we don't have any damages. The second one is the label quality. It's something that you don't always think about straight away, but we do scan the parcel upwards of 8 times through the networks that we do. So if you're printing your label at home, then ensure that your cartridges are up to speed. Make sure there's no white lines going through the barcodes. If you print it off in the Collect Plus store, which you can do, if you don't have a printer at home, you can actually have it printed at the location you go to. Then just make sure that the shopkeepers, and when you see the label go on the parcel, make sure, because what one missed scan can lead to that parcel not getting delivered on time, but worst, actually not getting delivered at all, and just entering a black hole in a logistics network. So I think when it comes to sending parcels, they're the two key things. You see some silly things as well. I mean, if you've got a poster and you've got a cylindrical tube, and then you wrap it around the tube, then that's really difficult for a logistics operation to manage, because it rolls around on the kit. It's just little things. And if you've got a box make sure you put it on the flat surface of a box and not, you'd be amazed. I mean, it's not just consumers and small businesses that do this. We've got very large clients that actually do this, and they'll fold the label over the side, which means it's virtually impossible to scan the parcel. So I think that's very key from distribution point of view. Just general tips are, obviously we see a huge amount of traffic via the platforms, the Amazons, the eBays. We've just heard that Amazon are putting up the seller rates as well. I think it's key for people to be on their own and have their own websites and obviously utilize the experience through Yodel Direct that you can get from that. And I think it is important that in kind of niche areas, and especially in the creative side of things, it's good not to be solely reliant on somebody as large as Amazon. So they're a few things that springs to mind, Craig.
I think the packaging one is a really good top tip, because I think we all send out parcels almost like presents, don't we? It looks beautiful when we're sending it out, but then I guess we don't realise. We just assume that one, we give it to a delivery person and he or she handles that through the whole process. But from what you're saying, up to 12 people could handle that parcel, which is amazing, because obviously there's always going to be a weak link in the chain there, I think.
No, absolutely, and just as an example, which is slightly funny, but it's kind of the extreme end of what happens. We've started working with some locker companies, which are slightly different than Collect Plus locations. So you go to a bank of lockers, you put your parcel in, we come and collect it from the locker, and there's advantages over these, which is, they're open 24/7, they're convenient, they're at locations that might be at stations or bus stops, all that kind of lovely stuff. But anyway, we started working with them, and just in the last week or so, somebody has wanted to send a bunch of flowers to a friend, and they bought the bunch of flowers. They'd wrapped a label around the stems and put the flowers into a locker box. Now, you can imagine that when you actually go and collect that, that's not suitable packaging, but we did manage to white glove it through our network and get it to that person. But it's simple things that sometimes you forget. Simple things are usually the things that make the biggest difference.
Yeah, and I think, again, reiterate what you said, top tips, just having it back in your head, 12 people, 8 people, manage this, scan this, whatever it might be. So there's a multitude of people handling that. So think about the packaging, which is great. Mike, my last question to you is how do businesses get involved now? What is it? What can they do? What's the ways that they can go connect or register to Yodel Direct?
Absolutely. Well, listen, the straightforward way is yodeldirect.co.uk. That's our dedicated website. It is clean, simple, and easy just to set up an account. Just a few details are needed, and then you can book your parcel based on weight. We offer weight bands 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 10. The prices are slightly different as the parcels are heavier and larger. And if you go to our website, there's lots of tips on there about what the speeds of service are, what your packaging should look like. We also have prohibited goods. Obviously, you've got some hazmat stuff that obviously we can't carry. Some obvious ones like weaponry and drugs are obviously on the website, but there's a whole host of useful information on yodeldirect.co.uk that your base of followers will be able to go and have a look. Some people may already know about Yodel Direct. We also operate through a comparison website called Parcels to Go. We work very closely with Parcels to Go to ensure that we've got the right levels of service, price, reliability through them as well. So if you don't want to set up an account on Yodel Direct, or you already use Parcels to Go, they're the two key ways of getting in touch with us and utilising our services, Greg.
Oh, that's fantastic. And we will have all the links at the bottom of the conversations, and also at the end of this video. But I think that's some great information there. And I think over the next coming months, especially this year, there's some more information from Yodel Direct. I think we're going to try to do some top tips and some maybe Q&As if people would like us to do that. but there's going to be lots of information about Yodel Direct coming out in the next couple of months.
Yeah, I'd love to answer questions that any of your members have got, and whether it directly or on a session, Craig. Yeah, I'm very open to helping people utilise our service.
That's fantastic. Well, Mike, we thank you, and we thank Yodel Direct as well. And obviously, this is not going to be the last we see of you this year, but again, I know you're very, very busy, so I really do appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Craig. It's a pleasure.